everybody, and welcome to my third video in this series called The Medics. Now, before I get going here, I just want to say that by presenting scripture references to these things, I'm not by any way, shape, or form condemning anybody. I'm just providing the truth here. This is about helping people, not tearing people down. So I just wanted to put that out there first, so in case you're listening to this, you're like, oh, he's attacking this and that. I'm not attacking anybody. This is about the medics, and the medics are out helping people. So with that, let's go to this. So this one's about the medics. And these are people that, and there's a lot of different things going on here, and I see it all over. These are ones that are helping people get out of bad situations. And there's a lot of people doing this right now, and it's awesome to see. But the first one, let's start here, is like job loss. Let's say somebody lost their job. Now, if you're doing okay and this doesn't even apply to you or anything, and you're doing good financially, and your wealth is in good hands, this is what it says for that. Command those who are rich in this present world not to be arrogant, nor to put their hope in wealth, which is so uncertain, but to put their hope in God. So, you never know, like, when you're going to lose a job. If these things, like it just says, they're so uncertain. You could be working yourself to death trying to please whoever, your boss or whatever, and just in an instant, you just lose it. First off, in the second part of this is who richly provides us with everything for our enjoyment. So basically, wealth is from God. No matter what you do, just don't let it go to your head. Stay humble, stay cool, because not everybody is doing that well off. So the first one I want to start with under job loss is financial. And that says, listen, my dear brothers and sisters, has not God chosen those who are poor in the eyes of the world to be rich in faith and to inherit the kingdom he promised for those who love him? And if you look around at different things, people that are poor, that don't have jobs, and this isn't just necessarily other countries, this can be here too. Have you ever noticed, like, and not all of them, but this is kind of where God steps in and grabs these people. They're really close to God because, it's almost like he's calling them. So that's kind of what that verse has to say. Don't treat these people any different than anybody else. And this verse goes with that. If you show special attention to the man wearing fine clothes and say, here's a good seat for you, but say to the poor man, you stand there or you sit on the floor by my feet. We're not supposed to do that. And I've even seen this in, churches where people are like, oh, he didn't dress good enough today, or He's got a stain on his pants, or it doesn't even matter what people are wearing. It has nothing to do with that. These are the people. I saw this one video where there was a new pastor, but the congregation didn't know that he was new. And he came in there dressed, really poor, with ripped clothes and dirty and everything. They had no clue, and he just sat in the congregation. And just to see, I think, what people would do. And, they treated him different. I don't know I can't remember if he was in the back or where he was, but he, as they were going along in the service, they said, "Yeah, we have a new pastor. Let's introduce him," or whatever. Well, then this guy stood up and came to the front, and he said, "This is exactly what we should not be doing, is, treating somebody like this." And he did it on purpose just to see what they would do. And he really caught him. It was crazy. But that's just an example of that. The other part of that is, have you not discriminated amongst yourselves and become judges with evil thoughts? So these are people for the job loss. These are people that are helping others either financially, like maybe people that work in banks, people that help give out loans. They're using their own money, like with tithes, to help people, or loans, or whatever. So those are the category of medics in that situation. And the next thing is gifts. Now, everybody has some kind of gift given by God, and this is something like that come easily to you, without even really having to put much effort into it, and you actually enjoy doing it. It was built inside you by God. like for an example, like with mine, I actually took a 7-week, let's say, quote unquote, course, which helped me figure out, and these are what people are doing, which is part of the medics too. They're helping you figure out what your gifts may be. And like, for an example, mine turned out to be, mine's music, computers, creativity, and leadership. And I knew already that I loved music, computer, certain things with, not everything, but certain things with computers come very easily to me. And I had one of my best friends always used to tell me growing up, when computers first started coming out, "How do you know how to do all this stuff?" And I was like, and back then I wasn't really aligned right, but I was like, I don't know. I just know how to do it. I'm not sure, So it's things that come easily to you and that you enjoy doing. And that can go with this verse too. God has placed in the church, first of all, apostles, second, prophets, third, teachers, then miracles, then gifts of healing, of helping, of guidance, and of different kinds of tongues. So, you might not be a prophet, a teacher, an apostle, and it doesn't matter. We all play a part. It doesn't matter what, you each have a specific purpose and gifts. And a lot of people, I think, have the gift of helping. And that's what I'm calling the medics. And people have a purpose. And God says, and we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. So, first, love God. You have to put that first. And how do you do that? By obeying his commandments. You're called and you're chosen to have a special purpose, and sometimes we don't know what that purpose is, and that's why we have these coaches and different other Christians out there that are helping people figure these things out. You also have like career coaches out there, people that are helping you with resumes, and this all kind of ties into the job thing. It's not necessarily if you lost it. It could be that you're just looking for what your purpose is, using your gifts to figure out what kind of job you'd like to do. And there's a lot of people doing this. A lot of good Christian people are doing this. So it says, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as for working for the Lord, not for human masters. So whatever you do, do it for him. You're not a slave to men here. You shouldn't be. So whatever you do, and I hope a lot of you are actually doing what you feel you're supposed to be doing. You're not just doing some random job that has no purpose, no point, and no, because I know a lot of people are doing that just for money, and I personally don't think that's right, because you're only doing it for money. You're not fulfilling God's purpose for you, and you're each special, and you have something that you're supposed to be doing, that he's provided for you to do. Excuse me for a minute. Okay. So next on the list we have addictions. And this could be all different kinds of things. Like these things that I'm talking about here don't just apply to these things. There's so many different things out there. I just kind of summed it up the best that I could from what I've seen. But, these are the people that are out there right now trying to help other people get out of addictions, so that they obviously they can help get themselves better. But as far as that goes, we have this. And this is like what end times says about these things. Like, people were eating, drinking, marrying, and being given in marriage up to the day Noah entered the ark. Then the flood came and destroyed them all. And it also says, I'm not sure exactly what verse this is, but it does say everything, it repeats itself. It happens under the sun. And this is one thing that is going to happen again, in the end times. People are just going to be living their lives, doing whatever, not even thinking about it. Kind of what I call like robots. You just do whatever the world has programmed you to do, or what you think you're supposed to do, but it really isn't. one of those things with addictions, like drugs and alcohol. The Bible says, "Do not get drunk on wine, which leads to debauchery." I'm not sure how to say that. Instead, be filled with the Spirit. So getting drunk is not good. It talks about this in different places in the Bible. But it never says, because I talked to another believer about this too, that she was saying at her church, they were teaching her that all drinking is bad. No, all drinking is not bad. It says, it's getting drunk, which is bad. But even in 1 Timothy, it says, stop drinking only water and use a little wine because of your stomach and your frequent illnesses. So drinking in moderation without getting drunk is not wrong. The first miracle that Jesus ever performed, he was at a wedding, and they ran out of wine, and he actually provided them with wine. He did this himself. So that's like proof right there, that drinking is not bad. It's just how you handle it. Next I have on the list prostitution. And all these things these other Christians and people out there are helping people get out of these situations, like drugs and alcohol. And maybe in the future, I'm kind of thinking about it, I might talk to some of these people just to see what their testimony is and what they're actually doing. We might do some I might do some videos or something. I don't know yet, but it's been on my mind, so we'll see. Stay tuned for that. But for prostitution, it says, they will eat but not have enough. They will engage in prostitution but will not flourish, because they have deserted the Lord to give to themselves. So when you're trying to do things for yourself, because from what I think, like with prostitution, most of the time, they don't even want to be doing these things. They're just doing it for money so they could pay their bills, and it's like they don't even want to be in it anyway. So you have to go to God first. The second thing on that was, do not degrade your daughter by making her a prostitute, or the land will turn to prostitution and be filled with wickedness. Next I had pornography, which kind of goes with that. Well, I put it like that. It doesn't necessarily have to go with that. But that says, do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit, who is in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own. You were bought at a price. Therefore, honor God with your bodies. So, and another one that goes along with that. Oh, that was actually, I couldn't, it only lets me do 200 characters, so I couldn't put what that's from, but that's from 1 Corinthians 6:19 through 20. But it was too many words, so it wouldn't let me do the whole thing. Next we had possessions. And this is, let me read this first. It says, then he said to them, watch out, be on your guard against all kinds of greed. Life does not consist in the abundance of possessions. And this kind of goes back to one of my other videos. I talked about this in this series. I'm not sure which one, but It's on there. Like even in my own personal life, I had a situation recently where I had to basically get rid of almost everything, and this is like years of stuff which I've been holding on to, and he's shown me that it doesn't really matter what you have. If you need it, he'll provide it for you again. If you have to leave it behind, so you don't even have to worry about these things. He's gonna help you one way or another. If he tells you he's gonna do something, that's what he's gonna do. Whether you believe it or not, that's what's gonna happen. Whatever his will is what's gonna happen. So, and you can't take your possessions out of here when our mission or our time here is done. It's like all these things are going to stay here and probably go to somebody else or something, but you're not going to bring them with, so they really don't matter anyway. And the second part of that is sell your possessions and give to the poor. Provide purses for yourselves that will not wear out, a treasure in heaven that will never fail, where no thief comes near and no moth destroys. And the second part of that I put was with money. And it says, for the love of money is root of all kinds of evil. Some people eager for money have wandered from the faith and pierced themselves with many griefs. So, with that, first would be job loss, and that goes with all those things. Then the addictions, and there's more probably, I'm sure there is, more addictions than what I put down here, but what I put down here is what I've been seeing over and over and over and over that people are dealing with, and there's a lot of people out there, the medics are trying to help these people in one way or another to get out of these situations, to get out of the addictions. Okay, so next I had relationships. And it says, for like marriage and divorce. But I tell you that anyone who divorces his wife except for sexual immorality makes her the victim of adultery, and anyone who marries a divorced woman commits adultery. And there's a lot of people too that are helping, and even people that have been divorced because somebody cheated, and in that way, from what the Bible says, it's okay. It's not a sin to get divorced, because it says right here, except for sexual immorality. So if that happens to you, and a lot of these people are rising up, telling their testimonies and trying to help other people who have been through divorce or marriage counseling and stuff like that. The other part of this, oops, I put that on there twice. Look at that. That's interesting. It was actually on there 3 times. I don't know how that happened. That's interesting. Okay. Next one would be under relationships is like children. It says, start your children off on the way that they should go, and even when they are old, they will not turn from it. And I know a lot of people, even myself, is struggles with trying to get your children to follow the right way, like God's way. They're there's a lot of issues going on with that right now because the world's teaching them different things with like YouTube and all these, electronic gadgets. Technology has just been so different because it wasn't like that when I was little. They just came out with computers, and I used to go to my grandma's house and just play this game called Pitfall, where it was like a triangle guy that was just falling through, and you couldn't hit the rocks or you'd die or whatever. It was simple stuff, and we mostly like played outside and rode bikes and played in the neighborhood all day long. We didn't have none of this stuff, so there's this new challenge with all this electronic things, and even like at schools, what the schools are teaching you, a lot of it's not right, especially public schools. I mean, these things can even happen in Christian schools, but they're teaching the worldly things, and it's just, so you got all these challenges, and there's people out there that are trying to help children with this. So those are the medics that are working in that. The next thing would be family members, and it says, and this is an end times thing, which I believe, I don't know where we're at in this. I believe we could possibly be in the beginning of it, or the middle of it, or maybe we're coming closer to the end. I don't know. Only God the Father knows these things. I don't know the answers to this, but I know we're at least in the beginning of the end times, at least in the beginning, from all these things, because in the Bible it says, "For a son dishonors his father, a daughter rises up against her mother, a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. A man's enemies are members of his own household." And that's also, I put down Micah 7:6, but that's also in Matthew 10:34 and 36. And this is happening all over the place, where, kids are turning against their parents, daughters are turning against, their mom, even people that are married are turning against each other. Like, all these things are actually happening right now. So you got people out there that are helping you in these relationship categories with, like, family members, whether it be direct or kind of indirect through marriage and stuff, and even past trauma, like things that you grew up with dealing with, so now you think that everything's a certain way. There's a lot of people helping with this too. And next I have homeless. And I talked about part of the, with the food, water, personal hygiene, shelter, and all that stuff. I've talked about this in the support category, but it kind of falls into this medic category too, because there's a lot of people going out, helping give people food, water, talking to them about Jesus, giving them personal hygiene items, and providing them shelter. And I have 3 verses that go with this. The first one is, "To this very hour we go hungry and thirsty, we are in rags, we are brutally treated, and we are homeless." And Jesus said, "The poor you will always have with you, and you can help them anytime you want, but you will not always have me." And then in Psalm it says, But as for me, I am poor and needy. May the Lord think of me. You are my help and my deliverer. You are my God. Do not delay. So a lot of people are out there, and God works through us doing different things, and sometimes we don't even realize that. But these people that are helping, that's God working through us, that are helping the homeless with all these different things. Okay, I gotta get one more drink here. This is a long one. It's going over 30 minutes now. But this is an important one, and it took me a while to figure all these things out to present it to you. But what I wanted to say finally for this is this. And now these three remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. So, like I said in the beginning of this, I'm not condemning anybody. I'm trying to tell you that what the medics are doing are helping people with job loss, with addictions, in relationships, and homeless. And like I said, there might be other things. Now, I'm sure there are other things that go with this too, but these are what I found to be the main ones. So first, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. And the second, and these are the greatest commandments that Jesus said. Second is like it: love your neighbor as yourself. So that's what I believe the medics are doing in all these different ways. They're loving their neighbor as themselves. They're out there doing all these different things, and hopefully, I'm kind of trying to plan some things in my head. I haven't brought it out yet, but I might talk to some of these people so they can present to some of these people I'm calling the medics, so that they can present either their testimony or what they're doing to help people. I think another thing I forgot to mention that. I was going to add that too, but like mental health with depression and different things like that, there's people helping with that too. And so hopefully some of these people, maybe they'll be willing to talk with me to you in videos or something. Stay tuned. We'll see where God leads that one. If I'll do that or not, or if he even wants me to do that, but we'll see. But thanks for watching. I know this is a long one. It's going up over 30 minutes now. This is basically the third thing in this series. I don't know if I'll do something after this for this series. What I might end up doing is these interviews that I end up doing. We'll find out, but stay tuned. This pretty much completes what I wanted to say for the mission. So thanks for watching. God bless you. Have a great day.